In the early 1930s, Ukraine's fields stretched endlessly toward the horizon, rich, fertile, and alive. It was the breadbasket of Europe until the bread was taken away. Within a single year, the laughter of harvest turned into the sound of silence. Villages emptied, families disappeared, and an entire nation was told not to ask why. But the truth? It wasn't nature that brought the famine. It was people. The Soviet government, under Joseph Stalin, demanded impossible grain quotas. Soldiers went door to door, seizing wheat, barley, even the last handful of seeds peasants tried to hide. Food was confiscated, and still, trains rolled east, carrying Ukrainian grain to the cities and to foreign markets. Officials called it requisition. Survivors called it theft. When the first signs of hunger appeared, Moscow claimed it was just a poor harvest. A natural setback, they said. But there was no drought. The soil hadn't failed, only the mercy of those in power had, and yet the world was told not to believe it. Western journalists in Moscow repeated the official line, "No famine here." Walter Duranty of the New York Times famously wrote that reports of starvation were exaggerated. Even as children died in the fields, he wrote about. Meanwhile, a few brave reporters like Gareth Jones risked everything to reveal the truth. Their voices got lost in Soviet denial and global convenience. The famine was erased. Inside Ukraine, things grew worse. The borders were sealed. Entire villages were blacklisted. No one allowed in, no one allowed out. Food aid was forbidden. Hunger was a crime, and as people starved, their culture and identity vanished. Leaders and artists were arrested or disappeared. The famine was more than a weapon of starvation. It was a weapon of silence. For decades, survivors whispered their stories in secret, afraid of being punished for remembering. It wasn't until the fall of the Soviet Union that the truth began to breathe again, and the word Holodomor was spoken freely. Death by hunger. Today, historians agree this was not a tragic accident of nature, but a calculated act of control. The Holodomor was both famine and message, a warning written in hunger, meant to break the spirit of a nation that refused to bow. But they didn't break. Ukraine remembers. And each November, candles are lit across the country for the millions who were starved, silenced, and forgotten. Because history's greatest lie isn't in what's said, it's in what's denied.
This has been the History Mythbuster. And if you think silence can't kill a story, stay tuned.